Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible properly? Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Hello. Am I audible properly, everyone? Nihar? Okay. Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, Ayush.
Okay, so listen everyone, let's running my screen and then after we start with our lecture. Hello, my screen is visible properly everyone? Hello, my screen is visible to everyone? Please reply. Okay, let's start our lecture. Okay, so listen everyone, today's topic is sound algorithm. Now, what is soundex algorithm? A soundex algorithm is considered as a phonetic algorithm that is used preliminary in a NLP natural language processing for indexing the names by a sound. See, when I explain this example, at that time you can understand what is the goal. See, the theoretical that you can understand everyone. So the soundex algorithm is considered as a phonetic algorithm used preliminary in a NLP for indexing names by a sound. This algorithm is used to group similar sounding letters together and assign each group a numerical number. Each group a numerical number. Now, what is the main goal of this soundex algorithm? The main goal of this technique is to use the homophones for encoding a text with a numerical indexing. Whatever the text is given, what it is done? Encoding the text with the numerical indexing, and as a result, the numerical representation can easily match with the other similar sounding character having the same numerical code. See, when I explain the example at that time, you can understand this word. Again, I repeat, the main goal of this technique is to use homophones for encoding text with numerical indexing. As a result, the numerical representation can easily match with other similar sounding character having a same numerical code. So this result is retrieving a list of words that are pronounced similarly with a very little variation in their homophone. So if you want to retrieve a list of words that are pronounced similarly with a very little variation in their homophone, then with the help of this soundex algorithm, then you can easily get that list of words, right? What do you have to do? Encoding the text with a numerical indexing, and as a result, this numerical representation can match with the other similar sounding character having the same numerical code. And with the help of this technique, you can say that you can retrieve a list of words that are pronounced similarly with a very little variation in their homophone.
Sorry. Just wait, everyone. So, listen. The Soundex algorithm it uses a simple phonetic-based spell checker. The code for a word that consists of its first letter followed by a three number. This thing you have to remember. Always the code for a Soundex algorithm it consists of what? The first letter followed by three number. So always when you get the answer, so at that time it is the code for that particular word that consists of first letter followed by a three number that encode the remaining consonants. Those consonants that generate a same sound have a same number. Okay, now use this code to check for the Soundex algorithm that uses a code to check for a closest word. Right now, I think all are to this. Is there any doubt, everyone? Hello, up to this clear, everyone? Or is there any doubt? Okay, I think all are clear. Let's start with the next point. Now, listen, the letters are, see here in this figure, the letters and they are substituted with some integer, that thing is given. So, the letters are grouped together based on the similar pronunciation. See, somebody pronounced b, but it may sound like b. So, all four map to a same digit one. Again, I repeat, the letters are grouped together based on a similar, see this letter and this integer substitute with integer, these values are fixed for a Soundex algorithm. But see how they are in a one group. So just I want to say the letters are grouped together based on a similar pronunciation. See somebody pronounce b, but it may sound like b. So all four they map to a same digit one. Right? So this thing is common. C, G, J, K, Q, S, X, Z. For all, you have to use the integer 2. Everyone, for D, these are D, not O. These are D and T. So for that, you have to use 3. For L, you have to use 4. For M and N, you have to use 5. And for R, it is substituted with the integer 6, everyone. Now, let's start with the Soundex algorithm. The algorithm is remove all the punctuation, first read it and then after with example I will explain the algorithm. So remove all the punctuation marks and capitalize later in the word. The second point is retain the first letter of the word. Then third point, remove any occurrence of the first. What you have to do, if any punctuations are there, you have to remove and capitalize the letter in the word. The second point is retain the first letter of the word. The third point, remove any occurrence of the letter, means A, E, I, O, U, H, W, Y, apart from very first letter. Apart from very first letter, you have to remove any occurrence of the letter, means A, E, I, O, U, H, W, Y. You have to remove it. Then the next step of the algorithm is replace the letter by numbers. Replace the letter by numbers shown in a table. All of you know the table is given. Now thereafter, if two or more adjacent letters not separated by vowel have the same numeric value, then you have to retain only one of them. Also, the two letters with the same number separated by H or W, okay, are coded as a single number. Okay, whereas such a letters separated by this, they are coded twice. So these are algorithm. Example I will explain you so you can understand everyone. Sorry. Okay, so listen. The next is word and sound X code is given. Now see here, for great, the sound X code is G630. See here, here is a great, and this also you can read that is great. So here the spelling is GRATE, and here the spelling GREATE, right? So here in this case, see here in this case, the both the words have a same sound. Both the word have the same sound here in this case, right? And so the sound X code for both the word is same, right? So see here in this case, the application I have explained everyone what I told. So here when I think for a GRATE everyone, GRATE. So for I am getting G60, G630, and for GRATE that again I am getting G630. So both have a same sound. Now see the goal I have explained. See, the main goal of this technique is to use the word for encoding the text with the numerical indexing. See, suppose grade is given. So now, suppose let's say I am getting the sound X code that is 630. How getting that I will tell you. But so what happens? As a result, the numerical representation can easily match with the similar sounding character having the same. So what happens? G630 that is matching with the other similar sounding character having the same numeric value. So that's why you can say that this result in retrieving the list of words that are pronounced similarly with a very little variation in their homophones. So with the help of this I can say that we can retrieve a list of words that are pronounced similarly with a very little variation in their homophone. Right? So here you can say that everyone. So how I am getting this G630? So based on the algorithm I will explain. So suppose let's say see in exam this type of word is asked. The question is
Find out the sound X code for a particular word. This type of question can be asked in exam. So suppose the word that is given, that is GRATE. Okay. So now see the algorithm everyone. So the first step of the algorithm is remove all the punctuation mark and capitalize the letter in the word. So here there is no punctuation. So what you have to do, you have to capitalize. So here the first step, that is GRATE, means you have to capitalize that. Now the next, that is retain the first letter of the word. So the first letter of the word, that is word G. So you have to retain as it is. Okay. Then after the third step is remove any occurrence of the letter, that is A, E, I, O, U, H, W, Y. Okay, A, E, I, O, U, H, W, Y. Apart from a very first letter, means the first letter read as it is, but other than that, you have to remove, if any of this type of occurrences occur, then you have to remove that A, E, I, O, H, W, Y. So this you have to remember. So here A and E is present everyone. So apart from this first letter, you have to check. This four you have to check. So A in E is there, yes. So what you have to do, you have to remove it. So when you remove it, what you are getting? You are getting GRT. Okay, because first you have to return as it is, and whatever the remaining there, from that if A, E, I, O, H, W, Y is present, then you have to remove it. So now it becomes GRT everyone. Okay, now after this step, After this step, what you have to do? See the algorithm. Replace the letters by a number shown in a table. So here G and for R and T. So what about the R? See the table everyone. So for R it is 6 and for T it is 3. This value is given. Okay. And listen in exam, this chart is also given. Okay. The letter which is integer, right? That this thing is also given to you in exam. So there is no need to remember everyone. Okay, now after that, so what you get the answer everyone? This is G63. But see, why I am getting G630? Because in Soundex algorithm, read the last line everyone. So return the first four character paired with 0 if they are less than 4. The Soundex algorithm always return the first four character. It paired with 0 if they are less than 4, then it is paired with 0. So here in this example, I am getting G63, it is less than 4, so you have to pair it with 0. So remember that in exam, most of you are doing the mistake, just you are writing G63. I will not give you a marks because Soundex algorithm always return a 4 letters. Okay, 4-digit number, it will return. Now see the another is GREAT. So same process. First you have to capitalize it. After the capitalize it, what you have to do? Remain the first letter as it is, and then after that, if the A E I O U H W I is present, then you have to remove it. So that's why here you are getting GRT. Then replace with the number. So here you get G630 everyone. Okay. So in this way, the Soundex algorithm is one. Sorry. Okay. Now, similarly, everyone, I will give you another example. You have to solve it and you have to tell me the answer. Okay. Now, listen. Suppose, let's say, my word is TORN. All of you write down this word. I will show you that chart, and based on that, you have to tell me the answer. The word is TORN. Okay. Now, I'm opening this everyone. So based on that, you have to solve it. So all of you, please try it. The word is TORN. Okay. Now, please reply everyone. Right? It's for you only. So what will be the output? What will be the Soundex code for the word TORN? See here, the letter which is substituted with integer is also given. So all of you try and tell me the answer. I'm waiting for your answer, everyone. Yes, Priyal, Mayank, Ashish, good try. The answer is T650. Very nice. Yes. Now listen, similarly I can say, suppose the word like this, that is one, the another is the word that is like on, right? So here you can say that is all words have that they sound similar or with a very little variation. So in all this case, see here in the first case I can say I am getting T650. This is my answer. Right, this is a sound export. Similarly, here I am getting a W650, and here I am getting H650. So here I can say that the words have a same sound or a very little variation. So if, here I am getting the same sound X code, right? I am getting the same sound X code. So that's why here everyone, here I can say that's why I can say that the Soundex algorithm, it is used to retrieving the list of words. They are pronounced similar with a very little variation in their homophones. With a very little variation in their homophones. Okay. Now, uh, Sorry. Now suppose the another word that I will explain you, that is sorry, see this type of word, you can say that the ton, one, on, it is used to find the good possible candidate for correction to be effected for a misplaced word. Now see the next word, everyone. Suppose the word is Ashcraft, ASHCRAFT. Now all of you know that what is the first step of Soundex algorithm? You have to capitalize it. You have to capitalize it. So first you have to capitalize it. Now after that, what is your next step? So the next step is which type of word that you have to remember, everyone? Remove any occurrence of the letter, that is A, E, I, O, U, H, W, Y. Apart from the very first letter, you have to remove it. So now see here in this example, H is there, then A is there. So what you have to do? You have to remove it. You have to remove it. So when you are removing it, so what you get? A, S, C, R, F, and T. Okay, so this thing you are getting. So apart from the means, retain the first letter as it is, and apart from that you have to remove if A, E, I, O, U, H, W, Y is present. So here H is present, A is present, you have to remove it. So now you are getting A, S, C, R, F, T. And then after, what you have to do? So then after, what is your next step in the algorithm, everyone? The next step is replace the letter by a number. Okay, so here see for H and C I have written 2 2. So see the table, everyone. So when you see the table for S and C, you are getting 2 value. Then just wait. For R, F, and T, I am seeing the value. So for I am getting 6. Okay. For F, I am getting 1. And for T, I am getting 3, everyone. Okay. So this value I am getting. Now, after replacing the letters by a number, now see then after one rule that I have explained, that I am reading, everyone. So the rule is, if two or more adjacent letters not separated by vowel have the same numeric value, then retain only one of them. So here here in this case, you can say that these two or more adjacent letters, they are not separated, these two letters, they are not separated by vowel, but have the same numeric value. So what you have to do? You have to retain only one of them, right? So that's why in next step what happen? What you get? A, 2, 6, 1, 3. But see, all of you know that in the sound algorithm, the code is what? It returns the first 4 characters. So here how many letters are there? 5 letters are there. So it will return the first 4 characters, and that's why the answer for this Hcraft for the Soundex code, that is A261. Now remember, in exam when you write this 5-letter code, then I will not give you a marks, because always the Soundex algorithm, it will return the first 4 characters. So compulsory, if this 5 digit you are getting, then compulsory you have to write A261. And see, if it is less than 4, then you have to pad it with a 0. So that thing you have to remember. Is there any doubt, everyone? Hello? Is there any doubt? Please reply. Okay, I will give you another example. Mayank, what are you trying to say? So we have to see word for that. I'm not getting your question, Mayank. Can you unmute your mic, Mayank? Hello.
Yeah, ma'am. I think
Your voice is not audible properly, Mayank. You are not audible, Mayank. Please. Mayank, in this example, see here the two or more adjacent letter, they are not, see here S and C. So for both the letter you are getting 2, right? So here you have to see, yes, you have to see the this particular letter, in between them there is no vowel is there, okay? So if they are not separated by any vowel, then and they have a same numeric value, then out of the out of the here the two values are there. So out of them you have to retain only one value. Got it, Mayan? Hello. Okay, Mayank. See, if you are not considering that vowel, then also see this rule that you have to keep in mind here in SoundX algorithm. If consecutive are there, then you have to keep only one of them. You have to think in that way. If the consecutive are there, okay, then you have to keep only one of them. See, whatever you say, it is true. But see, here you have to remember that if they are separated by here, if the more than one letter that they have a same value, then you have to retain only one of them. That rule only you have to keep in mind in this case. Okay, okay. Now suppose I am giving you another word, everyone, and you have to tell me the answer. Let's say my word is capital T U M C Z A K. Okay, all of you write down this word T U M C Z A K. So please tell me the answer. Please write down, and then after I am showing you that numerical letters, everyone. The word is capital T U M C Z A K. Okay. Now all of you refer to this table, and based on that tell me the answer. I am waiting for your reply. Any other? Please reply, everyone. Please interact, everyone. Mayank, in this case, CZK, in each and every case, you are getting two values, right? So that's why again you have to retain only one value. So that's why the answer is T520. Listen, everyone. So here in all three cases you are getting 2. So if here in this case again you have to retain only one of them, and that's why the answer is T520. So two or more adjacent letters have a same numeric value, then you have to retain only one of them. So that's why here the answer is T520. All of you clear? Anyone have a doubt? So here my answer is T250. Again I am giving another word, everyone. Tell me the answer. So please write down the word TJASNIM. Please write down and tell me the answer. And I am showing you that substitute with integer. Try it and tell me the answer. I want the answer from you, everyone. Please reply. Only Mayank is giving me an answer. What about Ashish, Ayush, Priyal? What's the answer? Please reply. Ansuman, it's not T25. What I told you, the output of the Soundex algorithm, it always return the first four letters. Okay, so here if you write T25, it's not sorry. So here the answer must be T250. If it is less than 4, then you have to pair it with 0. So Ansuman, your answer is not sorry. First time. The answer is T250. Okay, good try everyone. So listen this all step that I have mentioned. Right. So this is all about the Soundex algorithm. So it is used to retrieve a list of words. They are pronounced similarly with a very little variation in their home form. So this is all about the Soundex algorithm. Anyone ever doubt? Anyone ever doubt up to this? Okay. Okay. Now let's start with the new topic, that is expert system. Just wait. Okay, my screen is visible properly, everyone. Hello, my screen is visible properly. Okay, thank you. Now let's start with the expert system. The definition is artificial intelligence is a piece of software that simulate the behavior and judgment of a human or an organization that has expert in a particular domain is known as an expert system. Again, I repeat, artificial intelligence is a piece of software that simulates the behavior and a judgment of human or an organization that has expert in a particular domain is known as expert system. Now, how it does? It does by acquiring a relevant knowledge from its knowledge base and interpreting it according to the user's problem. The data in the knowledge base is added by a human that are expert in a particular domain, and this software is used by non-expert use non-expert user to acquire some information. So again I repeat, see, the artificial intelligence is a piece of software that simulates the behavior and judgment of a human or an organization that has an expert in a particular domain, that is known as an expert system. And how it does? It does by how it is done. So it does by acquiring the relevant knowledge from its knowledge base and interpreting it according to the user problem. The data in the knowledge base, how the data in the knowledge base is added? The data in the knowledge base is added by using a human that are expert in a particular domain. And this software that is used by a non-expert user to acquire some information. Now, what is the application of this expert system? So here you can say that medical diagnosis, accounting, coding, games, these are the application of the expert system. Now the next I will explain you, that is which are the examples of the expert system. There are many examples of the expert system. Some of them I will explain you. The first example, that is MySyn. So MySyn, it is one of the earliest expert system based on a backward chaining. Now, how the backward chaining, the another is a forward chaining. How it works? In later slides, I will explain you everyone. So here you can say that it can identify the various bacteria that can cause a severe infection and can also recommend drugs based on the person's weight. The another example, that is Dendral. It was an artificial intelligence-based expert system used for a chemical analysis, and it uses a substance spectrographic data to predict its molecular structure. The another example, that is CA date. So it is a clinical support system that could identify a cancer in its early stages in a patient. So this is one of the example. The other is a DXplain. It was also a clinical support system that could suggest a variety of disease based on the finding of a doctor. And another example, that is PXDEX. So it could easily determine the type and the degree of lung cancer in a patient based on the data. So these are the various examples of the expert system. Just wait. Sorry. Now the topic is people involved in an expert system. The design, development and the use of expert system, it involves a number of people. The first one, that is end user. Now the so all of you know the end user of the system is the person who has the need for the system. For example, in the case of medical diagnosis system, this may be a doctor, or it may be an individual who has a complaint that they wish to diagnose. Again, I repeat, the end user of the system is a person who has the need for the system. So in the case of medical diagnosis system, this may be a doctor, or it may be an individual who has a complaint that they wish to diagnose. The second people involved in an expert system, that is knowledge engineer. See, by this term you can understand. Okay, the knowledge engineer means the knowledge engineer is a person who designed the rule for the system based on either observing the expert at work or by asking the expert question about how he or she works. See, the knowledge engineer is a person who designed the rule for a system based on either observing the expert at work or by asking the expert question about how he or she works. Okay, the third people involved in an expert system, that is domain expert. So the domain expert is very important to the design of an expert system. See, in the case of medical diagnosis system, you can say that the expert need to be able to explain to knowledge engineer how he or she goes about diagnosing a illness. Again, I repeat, in the case of medical diagnosis system, the expert needs to be able to explain to the knowledge engineer how he or she goes about diagnosing illness. So these are the people, end user, knowledge engineer and domain expert. They are involved in an expert system. Now, the next topic, that is architecture of expert system. The next topic is architecture of expert system. All of you refer to this figure and then after I will explain. Sorry. This is the architecture. One by one I will explain you all the part. The first I will explain you knowledge base. The knowledge base that contains a specific knowledge that is used by an expert to derive a conclusion from the facts. Now see how the conclusion is derived. So there are different techniques are there. Forward chaining and there is a backward chaining. So how exactly by using rules and fact how to derive this conclusion. So by using forward and backward, I will explain you in the next lecture, everyone, how the conclusion is derived once the rules and facts are given. So the knowledge base that contains a specific domain knowledge that is used by an expert to derive the conclusion from the facts. In the case of rule-based expert system, this domain knowledge is expressed in the form of series of rules, right? So basically the knowledge base contains a knowledge that is used by an expert to derive the conclusion from the facts. And in the case of rule-based expert system, the domain knowledge is expressed in the terms of what? Series of rules. Okay. Now, The next point, that is explanation system. Now, what is explanation system? Sorry. The explanation system that provides the information. See, this explanation system that provides the information to the user about how the inference engine arrive at the conclusion. Sorry, please wait. Now, the second point is explanation system. That explanation system that provides the user about how the inference engine arrive at its conclusion. This can often be essential, particularly if the advice being given is of critical nature, such as with a medical diagnosis system. If the system has used a faulty reasoning to arrive at this conclusion, then what happens? Then the user may be able to see this by examining the data given by an explanation system. So always in this explanation system, it provides the information to the user how the see by using inference engine, the useful of inference engine. So once the rules and facts are given, you are getting the conclusion. But explanation system that provides the information to the user ki how the inference engine, meaning in which way the inference engine that arrive at its conclusion. So this is the concept of explanation system, everyone. Now, the next, that is fact database. So, see, the fact database, it contains a case-specific data that are used to be used in a particular case to derive a conclusion. Now see, in the case of medical expert system, this would contain the information that had been obtained about patient's condition. So always the fact database that contain the case-specific data. So in the medical expert system, you can say that which type of information it contain. It contain the patient condition. It would contain the information that had been obtained about the patient condition. Okay, so that is all about fact database, everyone. Then this user of the system that interfaces with it through what user interface, which provides access to inference engine, explanation system, and knowledge base editor. Then the another is a knowledge base editor. The knowledge base editor that allows the user to edit the information, that is whatever the information that contains a knowledge base that is edited by using the knowledge base editor, everyone. But see, the knowledge base editor is not usually made available to the end user of the system, but it is only used by what? It is only used by the knowledge engineer or the expert to provide or update the knowledge, whatever the knowledge is contained. So it is used to provide or update the knowledge that is contained within the system. And the last part, that is inference engine. The inference engine is a part of the system that uses the rules and facts to derive the conclusion. Now the question is in your mind, how by using the rules and conclusion, the rules and facts, the conclusion is derived. So for that, the inference engine that use the forward chaining, backward chaining, or a combination of these two to make a inferences from the data that are available to it. So now see, again I will explain this all part. That is, the first, that is a knowledge base. The knowledge base that contains the specific domain knowledge that is used by the expert to derive a conclusion from the facts. So it contains the specific domain knowledge. The next, that is explanation system. the experiential system that provides the information to the user about how the inference engine arrived as its conclusion. So this is often particular, essential and particularly if the advice being given is of critical nature, such as in the medical diagnosis system, if the system has used the multi-reasoning to arrive at this conclusion, then the user may be able to see this by examining the data given by an explanation system everyone. Right? The next that is a fact database. So here you can say that the fact database that contains what case specific data means like in the medical expert system, it would contain the information about the patient's condition. Okay. Now thereafter the next that is user interface. So what you can tell about the user interface? So here you can say that the user of the expert system that interfaces through a user interface and which provides access to an inference engine, explanation system and knowledge base editor. Now what about this knowledge base editor? This knowledge base editor that allows the user to edit the information contained in the knowledge base. But see, the knowledge base editor is not usually made available to the end user of the system, but it is used by what? By the knowledge engineer or the expert to provide sorry, knowledge engineer or the expert to provide and update the knowledge that contained within the system everyone. Okay, and the last part that is inference engine. The inference engine is a part of the system that uses the rules and facts to derive a conclusion. So the inference engine will use forward chaining, backward chaining, or a combination of these two to make the inferences from the data that are available to it. So, see here in inference engine, it uses the rules and facts to derive the conclusion. But how by using rules and facts, the conclusion is achieved. So for that, the different technique means forward chaining and or you can say backward chaining is used. So that I will explain you in the next lecture. Ki how we are getting the conclusion once facts and rules are given. So last 5 minutes are left. Within that time, the topic will not be covered. So we are ending our session over here, and in next lecture, I will explain you that topic everyone. Is there any doubt? Hello? Is there any doubt? Please reply. Sorry. Okay, thanks everyone for replying. Okay, so in next lecture, start with that topic, okay? Forward chaining, backward chaining, and routine algorithm that I will explain you in the next lecture. Thank you.
Good afternoon, students. Please confirm that you can hear me. Thank you. All right, so let's get started. We have 1 hour for the last lab BDA subject, and then at 4:30 we will have session on to get ready into college for industry. You'll have a chance to do live Q&A, like it will be interactive after a while. So let's get started with our current final work. Entire screen, fine. So as you remember, uh, we started with uh, master slave architecture and client server uh, architecture, right? Difference between these two, and then so far we have learned so many different things in the regard of distributed computing as well. So this last 1 hour, as per the time permitted, I could at least got you the socket programming, which is the final topic with respect to communication. Okay, so you might have heard about socket programming, right? Let me just share a link with you. I mean, you may go to BDA Conduit and then go to practice, go to my folders, and inside that you have practice folder, right? There you will get all these files, what I'm gonna talk about, right? There is a README file which has this URL given to you. So please go to BDA Conduit. In that, go to Professor G.P. Pointia and then practice folder. In that, you have socket programming or likewise name folder. And in that Java specifically, as provided by Oracle, this link is given. If you don't want to type, you can download that and get here. Okay. So what we are talking is something called socket programming. It is the primary source of network communication, especially the server and client architecture. Okay, so I thought I have this demo ready, so let me actually explain you a bit about socket programming also. That will in a way confirm your networking skills and overall understanding of communication. Okay, so anybody has done or was socket programming ever covered in any of the theory sessions or any other subject or any expert session anywhere? Please confirm immediately. Was socket programming covered anywhere in any of the session so far by any other experts or faculties? Okay, no. So then it is good time you at least learn little bit here. Okay, right. Now, why the name socket? Because when you plug your charger into electric board, that plug, that 3 pin or 5 pin is also actually called socket. It is electric socket in a way. Okay, and what happens when you plug your charger? The current flows from that socket to your mobile phone battery, right? I mean, that's just an analogy, but the name socket is exactly coming down from there, which is nothing but an electric socket also. So here, in our term, it's not electric socket, it is actually a logical, information. I mean, socket might be very much like, you can say it's an end, END, it's an end via which you can connect something else. Okay, so but we know that anything, like in the past we have learned learned about token, right? Then we realized, okay, token is also a data structure. So that way socket can also be, some or other information in the memory, right? And top of it, you will have APIs to connect to. Okay, so yeah, I mean, web services, what you might have learned behind the scene, it would be, on top of sockets. So basically, socket was the primary source when, client server architecture. The socket is the primary source of communication. Okay, socket programming, and on top of that, you may have, web services and all this whatever you have done so far. Even websites like, HTTP, we can assume maybe underlying there will be sockets. Okay. Anyways, so URLs or URL connections provide a relatively high-level mechanism for accessing resources on the internet, right? Sometimes your programs require lower-level network communication, and that's when you want to do client-server application, right? So that's what socket is, as I just mentioned, right? What is a socket? It's a one endpoint of a two-way communication link between two programs running on the network, right? Then, of course, there is a prototype about socket, and there are implementations in various languages like in C programming, Java, and others, right? Maybe Windows or Win socket might be is the name of your class. Okay, Win socket, maybe the name of the class in Windows certain library. Anyways, so socket you understand now, right? It's an endpoint. Fine, and it let you connect to another endpoint, right? And of course, socket classes will be provided to you, and APIs will be there, right? So you will have, client and server, right? And then what will happen? Of course, there has to be connection established, right? So client will send a request to server, and then server will say, okay, we are connected. If that is all good, right? So socket is one endpoint of a two-way communication link between two programs running on the network. A socket is bound to a port number so that the TCP layer can identify the application that data is destined to be sent to. So you have to understand that there will be something like port number. It will be bound to the socket, which is nothing but data structure. Theoretically, it is actually bound to a port number. Okay, and TCP layer will be able to utilize that port number, and of course there will be IPs also. If you may have same computer, you will be listening on certain interface of the same computer, but otherwise there can be two different IPs also. Okay. So these two programs, what we are saying, one is the client, another is the server, can run on the same computer, as well as they can also run and communicate to each other from different computers also. Now, it need not to be just two. We'll see, for one communication channel, it is like two. But otherwise, we will also say that we also know that there is one server and multiple clients possible. But now you might ask, how will that happen? I mean, server is just a one process. So when client one talks to the server, he is connected to client one. Then how come client two will also be will be able to connect to server? Again, client three will be able to connect to the server. How that exactly happens behind the scene? So there is a diagram for that, and I have not drawn it myself. And I always would not, want to utilize third party, but then I will have to do that today. I think I saved it somewhere, but anyways, so client. So guys, please Google client server communication diagram, something like that. Client server communication, client server communication diagram. Okay, I should not have done it right now, but anyways, okay. So which diagram I'm looking for is this, for example. Okay, which is this, for example. And it is any third party. I am not interested in who is providing this. I just want to show you the fundamental how it might be doing. How can I go to this image? Will I be able to go to that image? Okay, So here it is. I should not be actually utilizing third parties' work, but I don't have any way to do this right now. Anyway, so see, this is how it